show.
Black Beauty. The title. We started, by the way. This is the titles. Hey,
what's that? Somebody's falling onto the salt lick.
Stuck down the well.
Yeah. No, clip, clop, clop. You want more salt lick? Oh, okay. And in this episode of Black Beauty, we shall find salt lick.
The desert on a horse with no name, Hobbit.
Yes, we went through but the thing is, and the difficulty of the premise was, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name, except the horse's name is Black Beauty. Yeah. So this song isn't accurate.
Black Beauty is a name.
Horse with no name, except the horse's name is Black Beauty. What's your name? Black Beauty. This song isn't accurate. I've been through the desert on a horse called Black Beauty. It felt good to be out of the rain. I can't make this on scan. I really want to do the horse with no name.
Death Valley, not really a PC name in 2025, is it? No, it's Sunset.
We have to call it Sunset Unalive Depression Gulch Valley.
Yes.
Nevada.
Yes.
Oh, and also we've got a special guest today. He's unaliving Death Valley expert, Fraser.
What was your favourite ingredient in Skittles? Mine was titanium dioxide. Why are the Yanks
the blue one
out of my Skittles?
The blue one.
That was also my favourite ingredient in toothpaste. Like, why? What's wrong with titanium dioxide? Is it really? Oh, look.
All of a sudden, it were good enough for me and my grandpa.
Oh, you know what? Oh, okay. So Steam has forgotten my payment details. I guess I can't buy Zombie Island for the Toilet of the Dead or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Have you seen that film? It's really bad.
What one?
No.
I thought it was like, oh, it's a Japanese film. It's not going to be as bad as Trauma. No, it's actually worse. So, Trauma did a really scatological film called
I can't remember the name
Guy.
of the podcast, but I listened to a podcast where he does like rundowns of like films that are probably going to make you vomit if you watch them. And there's regularly at least one or two Japanese films on there.
Where is Human Centipede on that list?
Like, literally Human Centipede, that's for babies. Like, unless you watch Japanese.
Is it? Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Oh, no, thank you then. No, thank you. That was too much for me. That was I'm going to be sick moment.
Yeah. Apparently there's some stuff in some of these Japanese horrors that would literally probably make your hair curl.
I was going to say, what's it called? Paul Verhoeven's, not Paul Verhoeven. Who's that? David Cronenberg.
Yeah.
Anything by him.
The interdimensional listeners got a suggestion. Minecraft Chasm, we could have called it.
Minecraft Chasm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, in
Good
Minecraft.
One. That's a good one.
Yeah, in Minecraft.
Now, there's something like you said, and I thought, oh yeah, that brings up like saying.
Dioxide. I was talking about Skittles to start with.
Yeah, you don't hear about it that often these days.
Wait, titanium dioxide. That's aerosolized titanium.
Right. So now I will say, speaking of things which we've all of us done. No, actually, no. It's not about chemistry. It's about biology. It's the Fortean subject of capybaras. Where were they 2 years ago? Because I swear it was like
they were in an enclosure with a gorilla. They were in an enclosure with a gorilla until it threw at a child.
Right. Okay. So
what?
I need to correct you on your.
I see that one on Twitter, Fraser.
No.
You racist can't tell the difference between primates. It's not a gorilla. It's a chimp.
It's a gorilla.
If it was a gorilla, it'd be nice. It's only chimps which do that.
No,
I hate chimps.
You need to get Hemi needs to go back to racism school.
The gorilla
you need to go back to racism school.
Must have slung it about 10 meters and fucking hit a child with it. The capybara. My favourite bit of the whole video is where some bloke comes along and kind of shuffles the dead capybara away from the child quickly before the child sees it.
What did it do? Explode on the child or something, or hit him on the head?
No, just fucking.
How is the child not dead? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, weaponized
As I watched
capybaras.
this video of a primate of indeterminate species who I have on good authority as a chimp and not a gorilla,
You have to send me that.
I am just going to ask
I
the
wanna see
question
this.
of Where were capybaras 3 years ago? Because as far as I'm concerned, the true thing to come out of the Wuhan lab was this creature called a capybara, and there's some mass gaslighting campaign saying like,
yeah, they like hang about watering holes to be eaten. Like they're the world's largest rodent, by the way. Did you know?
No, that's a rabbit.
No, they're
they're in South America, Hobbit. That's
I
why
have
you haven't seen one.
Giant rabbits.
That's why I don't see them all the time.
Than the so-called capybaras.
No, they're pretty big.
As far as I'm concerned, this is like, it's come out from the Wuhan thing, and they're all just like claiming like, oh yeah, no, capybaras, they're totally. Didn't you know about capybaras?
They're about the size of a pig, right?
No, I've seen them. They're about the size.
Fraser,
they're the size of a small dog.
There's the gorilla slinging a capybara. It's a foreign version, but that's the first one that came up.
Foreign? Is it? Okay.
It's Chinese, I think. Fucking wallops.
Oh, of course.
Really took umbrage with that one child in the crowd, and I don't know why. Hey, kid.
But this is the thing, right? So just like a few years ago, and some people's like, oh, Hobbit's never seen a capybara before. What's he been living in Plato's cave all this time? Yeah. Well, obviously I have, because I've heard about all sorts of creatures, even a duck-billed platypus and a giraffe, as if they're real creatures. And now we're all pretending like, oh, capybaras, didn't you know? They're just they're totally real, and they've been around for millions of years.
Anyone ever wants evidence of the flood? Like, just look at Australia. That's the only place that didn't get flooded, obviously, because fucking abominations down there.
I would say that
it is the one with the extra couple of seconds where the bloke shuffles the capybara away with his foot.
So Dom's saying, I thought Wuhan was about pangolins. Yeah, but pangolin is a capybara that they haven't put the fursuit on.
What's an echidna? Echidna.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah,
where he shuffles it off with his foot so the kid don't freak.
What the fuck?
One would assume that capybara is dead. It was thrown with great violence.
How is the kid not dead?
Yeah, knocked out, unconscious. Holy shit! He throws it with dead on, man. Holy shit! That guy's a fucking sniper of the ape world. Yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah, I suppose I better put the link in chat.
Fucking bullseye on that. Holy shit!
I know about echinagias, not to be confused with that plant people take when they got a cold.
Yeah.
It's because Sega released Sonic 3, and it was like, yeah, we got Knuckles.
Knuckles
he's like,
as an
Echidna.
But then they did a new Sonic game where I was like, yeah, we got this black Sonic, and he's got guns and he does drive-bys.
And then they did the one with Ugandan Knuckles.
I don't think that was an official Sega product, but considering the amount of stuff they've churned out with the Sonic name on it,
what you never heard of fucking Ugandan Knuckles?
I do know about. I know the way. Click, 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 click.
Ugandan Knuckles.
Yeah, officially.
Has now got a proper job of working at BBC Pigeon.
Didn't he turn up to the BBC one day and they were asking him something about fiscal policy in China?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I remember that guy, that taxi driver, the BBC. Yeah.
What was it I put in the group the other day? That guy. There's another joke name from the BBC.
Yes, so this guy was campaigning for you shouldn't drink alcohol, and instead of his name being Mohammed 5 times, it was Alfred Beercock.
No way.
This is a very Fortean subject of. I'm not convinced. Right, so there's two things.
Do you believe everything you see on TV nowadays? Yeah.
So there's two things, right?
Subjects of BBC and their names.
Either BBC manages to find people with these unusual names that are related.
Kid didn't even try and catch the poor capybara. Shake my head.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the two possibilities. One is BBC makes up these names as they go along and they find it a sick joke. Or two, people like Alan Drinkwater, Phil McCann, and Alfred Beercock, Andrew. Well, but Andrew Lawrence is not a name that's No, I can't think of something Andrew Lawrence related.
What you said about sick jokes, that's why I mentioned Andrew Lawrence.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, that's it. No, the thing is, like, BBC does these things. Well, I don't think it was a sick joke. I mean, if I was driving in Liverpool, I too would want to escape from crowds.
You're not allowed to say that. You got to say.
Not in Liverpool.
I would love to be in Liverpool, and if I was in Liverpool, I would stay there as long as humanly possible. Which would be until I drove out through it.
I love Liverpool. I love the way it smells like shit. I love the way Scousers sound like rape alarms. I love the way Liverpool's full of Liverpudlians. I love their kleptomania as a hobby. I really love Liverpool. Everything about Liverpool is great. Why would anybody want to leave Liverpool?
I love the national pastime of rimmed exportation.
If I can paraphrase a Helen Pace quote about Yorkshire Airlines, but adapt it for Liverpool, we'll be taking it off from Liverpool International Airport, flying around for 20 minutes and landing, because why the fuck would you want to leave Liverpool?
Why would anyone?
And then I would
Liverpool,
do some...
Let alone in a hurry.
And then...
Let alone if they're...
I need to do the Liverpool...
See what I put in just now? It turns out that he's ex-army, by the way.
Yes.
Not hashtag not a patsy. Yeah.
Hashtag not Ukrainian rentboy.
Oh shit!
It's like this one is
all above board.
Hashtag this one's definitely not Ukrainian, honest gov.
Yeah.
But it just sort of going back to Liverpool. I would then go, calm down, because they make that noise, don't they?
Calm down. Yeah, that's.
Do you think they're actually Muslim?
No, that's that's the noise they make when they fucking come.
Yeah.
Are they Klingon?
Where do you think they got the inspiration from?
Yeah. I don't Klingons don't nick stuff though, do they?
Yeah. They kill people and nick shit.
Okay.
They're quite happy to sort of pinch other people's starships.
Yeah,
I do have to make a serious point for 1 second. Have you heard about the woman that claims she's suffering from a 7-year sinus infection after her ex-boyfriend faced his cheeks at her and farted in her face while she was recovering from surgery?
Oh, it's not just that, right? It's not just that. It's like
E. coli in her sinuses.
Like the fart is so powerful, it paralysed her, and she's been confined to a wheelchair.
This isn't real, right?
She said,
"Oh my god!"
He and I this is a quote. He and I stayed in a hotel one night after I had surgery, and he farted terribly, like I couldn't breathe.
What, on her face? Like,
yeah,
right in her mouth.
Yeah,
right in her open mouth.
What the?
That truly is Fortean. I didn't know you could catch E. coli from farts, Hobbit. Did you know that?
Well, you know, E. coli is in the bum, and poo particles do come out the farts.
I take it he didn't have any like trousers or pants on, because I assume they'd kind of filter like actual poop.
Well, yeah, you would think, right? You know.
Right. So, I need I remind you?
And guffing in Missy's face with no pants on. That's like a step too far, I reckon.
I remind you?
What were they doing? The 69, sleeping 69 or something? Like, I don't know. Like,
no.
was his arse in her face or something? Yeah. Like, how does that happen? Like, the mystery of fucking how do you like get farted in the face without like intentionally doing it?
Here's the thing, which when we all wearing those, we all wearing those masks. When you remember everyone was going around masks, like if you can smell a fart through the mask, then it's not filtering anything.
Yeah. if you can catch E. coli in your sinuses with the mask, then it's not filtering anything.
No.
What was it? Was she a PPE tester? Is that what it was?
Do you remember there were those rumours that you could get the beer bug from people farting if they had it or something? Do you remember that one?
The beer bug? What was that?
The corona.
Oh, okay.
The Winnie the
Rona.
Yeah. Oh, you mean sweet and sour sicken?
Yeah, the kung fu. What was it called? The kung fu.
The kung fu. Sweet and sour sicking, chinky pox, kung flu. Batsuit Croup.
Yeah. Do you remember when they said that you could catch that from farting? Do you remember that?
Yes, and you'd have to wear like a filter on your bum. And, do you
That's
remember
why we needed all those masks. It wasn't just for your face.
Has she actually proved that correct then, has she?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you remember when people were like, oh, we got to wear these masks, right? But at the same time, we got to have these musicians. So what we'll do is we'll cut holes out of their masks. They'll still wear the mask, but we'll cut holes out of it so they can continue to use their woodwind instruments.
I fucking love sewing.
Yes. Oh, and what we'll do is we'll have the oboists playing in these fart boxes. You know, those little plastic things. Apparently, this existed before the Chinky Pox, and the idea is you got this like it looks like a builder's toilet. You know the one where the roadmen have the 4 plastic sheets up.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's like, well, you know how would you like something that's a bit like an umbrella but more impractical? And the idea is you wear this roadman's toilet around you.
Tom says, true fact, Chuck Norris is the only person never to catch COVID.
Well, no, he did catch COVID and he suplexed it.
Yeah, he roundhouse kicked it.
Yeah.
Anyway, one more story I've got. A Florida family went fishing on a charter boat and ended up catching 56 pounds of cocaine.
56 pounds of cocaine where?
In Florida. It's Florida news.
Oh, I'm sure there's more than 56 pounds of cocaine there. It doesn't seem enough somehow.
Yeah. I assume Macron's all over this story, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
he's getting on a flight with Bridget right now. Yeah.
Is that why she was getting all tetchy because they ran out of cocaine?
Yeah, he sniffed all the coke. Yeah, he sniffed all the coke. You know, he shared it with Starmer and fucking Mers or whatever his name is. Fucking...
Oh, that's why he got the slap from the missus.
Yeah,
he
used up all the last of the cocaine. Yeah.
I'll take it you saw that, did you, Hobbit?
Did you?
No.
You didn't
see Macron being slapped by his missus?
Oh, right. So here's the conspiracy theory about that I heard, and I'm just like, okay, guys, look, calm down. People are saying that Emmanuel Macron's 25-year-old bloke is actually his father. And I'm like,
what? This is a new twist. That's a new twist.
That's a bit too far.
It's like,
where did this twist come from?
Is this like just a thing of saying yes and? So like, you know, you tell people the reasonable thing of that septuagenarian which he's hanging around with is actually a man in the wig.
Oh, living the dream wants to know what the Florida family used as bait. I have no idea.
Crocodiles, meth,
meth gator, specifically trained.
You've seen cocaine. You've seen cocaine bear.
Yeah.
No, meth gator.
That's why I say I haven't done that yet. Why is there not a fucking Meth Gator film? That'd be funny.
Apparently there is.
It'd be like fucking Lake Placid.
I've heard people mention Meth Gator. I don't know if it actually is a film.
Yeah, isn't it Lake Placid? Is that not the film?
I think there's actually a film called Meth Gator. I'm sure there is. Hold on. Yeah, Attack of the Meth Gator 2023, hour and 29 minutes.
That just sounds absolutely like Sharknado 2 Electric Boogaloo.
it's Cocaine Bear's out. We need to jump on this quick.
One of these days, I'm gonna have to watch it, and then I'm gonna have to watch.
I'll wait for the sequel, Metharoo. You know.
I am going to watch Cocaine Bear one of these days, and also Sharknado.
Is that going to be the sequel?
Nah, Meth Kangaroo. You know, kangaroo that's hooked up on like meth.
No, it'd be
just like kicks shit.
It's got to be another drug, isn't it? Because meth's.
That's true.
Meth.
Cocaine Bear, Meth Gator.
Now.
Crackaroo. That's it. It'll be called Crackaroo.
Crackaroo. Hobbit, any other drug animal combination films you can think of?
I know. Oh, this is going to be great, right? Cannabis capybara. There's my updates on Reddit.
I'd nibble your fucking heels.
I was thinking of weed boar.
Weed boar.
Just the boar that's on
weed weevil. Yeah. Weed weevil.
Weed weevil.
You just find weevils in your marijuana.
Right then. So, are we ready to dive into our deathly subject?
Oh, now, don't you mean unalived TikTok?
Yeah.
Unalived TikTok. Can you really not say the D word on YouTube anymore? Is it not allowed?
Who fucking knows? Let's pretend.
But everyone thinks.
Someone ask Susan.
Can we ask Susan? These things where everyone just thinks it.
Yeah.
Let's pretend we have to say these words. Oh no, we're going to do the. Yeah. Oh yeah, we have to write an essay about how we were sexually assaulted by Susan and a stupid fucking nose. I'm sorry that you're burning in hell, Susan, with your son.
We are sorry about that. Are we sorry about
that? Thoughts and prayers for you burning in hell.
Yeah, well,
along with the rest of your family, Susan.
Right, so where do you want to start?
Death
Valley.
Wow, where is Death Valley?
Death Valley.
And why is it called Death Valley?
Oh, yeah, it is called Death
Valley.
It's actually Death Valley Country Park. Shall we start with that then? Do you want me to define terms?
Is this where they it's called Death Valley, and then later on, some busybody with...
in England, isn't it? It's a national park.
I was going to say, is it one of those things where they're like, you know how they had the
imagine the National
Bureau
Trust presiding over giant skeletons? That'd be quite funny.
You know how we got the RSPCA over there? Their equivalent to the RSPCA is called the ATF, and what they do is they go around putting down puppies, and then they're we call it the ATF for always terminate friendly puppies, and then they're like, what if we renamed it to the BATFE? So now it's the Bureau of Always Terminate Friendly Puppies every day.
Right, so Death Valley National Park is a national park of the United States. Well, it would be because it's in the United States.
Oh no, it needs more words to qualify it. National Federal Park of Puppy Extermination.
That straddles the California Nevada
border. Straddles. Oh, does it?
Yeah.
So it's not just Nevada.
It
rubs up and down against the border. Yeah.
Yeah, it straddles it.
East of the Sierra Nevada, the park boundaries include Death Valley, the northern section of Panamint Valley, the southern section of Eureka Valley, and most of Saline
Not to
be
confused with Eureka.
There is a place in America called Saline Valley.
Do you think the explorers just got to the west and let's just call it Salt Lake?
Oh, that's where the saline gets mined.
Where shall we? What shall we? When we founded the city next, to Salt Lake. What should we call it? Salt Lake City. Yeah, that'll do. I'm sure we'll use that as I'm surprised they haven't got a town there called Placeholder, Idaho, or somewhere. And it's you
TBC.
Or
TBC. TBC, Iowa.
Welcome to the city of Lorem Ipsum.
The city of soon to be named.
The city of bottom text.
So the park occupies an interface zone between the arid Great Basin and Mojave deserts, projecting the northwest corner of the Mojave Desert and its diverse environment of salt flats, dunes, badlands, valleys, canyons, and mountains.
I feel contractually obliged, as we're talking about that area, to do a full-out New Vegas reference. Living in the Mojave makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
Death Valley is the largest national park in the contiguous United States. I don't know what the contiguous is. As well as the hottest.
Well, as opposed to the discontiguous United States.
Contiguous means because Alaska's a part of the United States. It's not.
And Hawaii is. Oh, hang on. No, you have to do it with the speech impediment. Hawaii.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, you got
because, you know, America cooked and allowed Canada to have some. Like,
are you telling me that Hawaii is like America's version of Liverpool?
Hawaii. Yeah. Well, basically, yeah. It's full of fucking meth and people who can't drive. Have you never seen Dog the Bounty Hunter?
I've been meaning to. Is it any good?
Yeah, you should watch Dog the Bounty Hunter. The Dog the Bounty Hunter is a wonderful travelogue of the Hawaii area.
Next time I come over to yours to watch some television, we're watching Duck Dynasty because I liked that show. It was good. They had this guy on it. It was very
Basin. Look,
really?
These names are terrible, aren't they?
It doesn't exactly strike you with the inspiration, does it?
Oh, UNESCO. Oh, I'm just skimming now because it's getting boring. UNESCO, our favourites, UNESCO, included Death Valley as the principal feature of its Mojave and Colorado Deserts Biosphere Reserve in 1984.
Right, so it's well known for its biosphere is Death Valley. You know, full of life is Death Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, unalive depression.
Unalive. I don't mean say unalive depression. I think
Sunset Gulch.
Sunset Gulch, yeah. Right. So let's talk about Death Valley's five strangest places. And the Clown Motel. I think we're gonna have to go. I think we'll have to check this a bit more, won't we?
Is that the one where they got whores, or is it California where prostitution's legal?
Isn't it legal in Las Vegas? Like, no?
Yeah, that's Nevada.
Yeah, it's Nevada. Yeah.
All right, so it's whoring in Nevada.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got a cemetery with a clown show next door.
Oh, that's
nice.
Cheer you up, you know. It's like, sorry, your grandmother's dead.
It's a custard pie, you fucker.
Yeah, just throwing custard pies at the fucking funeral attendees.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Ceremony that got any ghosts? Ghosts that haunt Tonopah. Is it Tonopah? It's probably Tonopah, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I am Tonopah Ease.
Tonopah. Why do people not like writing anymore? Why is it always videos all the time?
Because why write anything when you could just go, hi, oh, no, you need to use YouTube inflection. Hi, and welcome to my video where we'll be talking about telegraph poles of the 20th century.
No, that's actually a town full of ghosts. That sounded a bit...
Why does that sound like a black man?
Yeah,
that's
not
very
welcome.
Yeah.
It went more pigeon. It went more pigeon than I wanted it to.
Welcome to Zombocom.
History of Tonopah. When Jim Butler...
Zombocom.
He can't do Indian accents, can he?
Can't do it.
Please, come to... Welcome to Zombocom. It is in Tonopah. Zombocom. Your imagination is your limit.
That's not it.
That's kind of what it's like.
I'm just doing. I'm doing my.
Not to have done.
It's like it's drawn out. How it's like drawn out like. It's drawn out like words.
The only one criticising this Hobbit is the only one not doing one.
I'm trying to think about it.
It's easy to criticise, but
I know.
Yeah.
It's like.
Just like Critical Drinker, isn't he?
Kind of.
Oh, just play that clip of the dwarf having a vomit.
There we are, Tonopah. That's how they say it, right?
Tonopah.
I preferred Hemi's Ugandan coverage of it. Welcome to Zombocom.
When Jim
and today on Zombocom we will be talking about
Hobbit.
We will be talking about Jim Butler at his visit. We will be talking about Jim Butler and his visit to Tonopah.
Hobbit talking about Jim Butler.
Tonopah, Jim Butler, Zombocom.
When Jim Butler wanted to throw a rock at his dog for running away at the end of the 19th century, that rock felt strangely heavy in his hand. When he took about a log, he saw he was holding a rock made of pure silver.
Oh, do you think So do you think Jim Butler was ever thinking like, I wonder how Tanopa's pronounced?
Is Jim Butler the new? Is he going to be our new hero, our new mascot?
Do you think Jim Butler was like, I'm sure that horse with no name is called Black Beauty?
No, because the horse has got no name.
If Jim Butler
it's not called the horse with I don't know the name. It's called the horse with no name.
Well, just call it Black Beauty.
It doesn't matter because the horse dies anyway in the song.
If Jim Donovan and Andrew Lawrence leave like Liverpool train station at 3 in the afternoon, at what speed will they be travelling when they encounter the crowd?
So you can find Tonopah somewhere between Las Vegas and Reno. It wasn't even a town when Jim Butler made his discovery. Jim named the town Tonopah, which is derived from the word Tonopah. That's how you say it, Hobbit.
Oh,
Tonopah.
I know what it means. He's Yorkshire, and he goes. So he stubbed his toe on the, and that's it. He went Tonopah. Siffy dagum.
Tonopah.
Buggering bastard hurt my bloody toe on that rock.
Which is an Indian word which means hidden.
Yes. Buggering bastard.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's a Yorkshire word for I hate that bloody rock. Let's see how far I can kick it.
Yeah. Within weeks, Tonopah was a booming mining town where men played poker after a hard day of work. Life wasn't easy. Working down Tut Mine was tough. Well, they use all Yorkshire people there, but Tonopah, working in Tut Mine.
Tonopah.
Yeah. I'm not working down Tut Pit. When they're saying that they're playing the thing you say, is that like a euphemism for they went a whoring?
Yeah, the city Tonopah was lousy with their whippets everywhere and pigeons.
Yeah, that's it. And brass bands marching up and down the streets.
How's this for a kind of tagline for it? Where people live, people die. It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. If you don't like it, bugger off.
Where water is wet, yeah, fucking.
Where there's muck, there's blass.
In April 1911, the cemetery was closed because it was full. About 300 people are buried there.
They just a sign on it saying "fuck off, we're full."
Many people were dying to get in there. Wait.
Yeah. Dad, stop it.
Many of them died of the mysterious Tonopah plague. Is that like a dose or something? Is it?
That was COVID before it was cool.
From the prostitute. Is that what we're going to call it? The Tonopah plague from now on.
The Tonopah plague. You could hear the cries of agony throughout the town. It just faintly, in the distance, you could hear how much.
According to a newspaper from 1905, the outbreak was caused by pneumonia, but that's unlikely because it's not contagious. Wait. Wow, I fucking love science. I do. The sudden deaths remain a mystery until this day. Only there was a mysterious man with the surname Fauci that happened to live there.
Fauci, no way.
I believe it. I believe it.
It was, and that man's grandson grew up to be. But there was a
gay sex enthusiast.
Yeah, but there was another tragedy that struck Tonopah. On 23rd of February 1911, a huge mine fire killed 14 people. Perhaps it's their restless souls that haunt the town.
Yeah. Or maybe they got turned into ghouls. You've got to shoot them in the eyes.
Many people are afraid of clowns. There's even a name for it, coulrophobia. That's why it's even more strange that the Clown Motel, a hotel that's stuffed with clowns, was built right next to the old Tonopah Cemetery. The motel is much loved by motorcyclists, but lately also by ghost hunters. The reception is crowded with clown figures, statues, paintings, life-size clowns, you name it. If it's got a clown on it, it's in there. If you dare to stay here, beware if you go for a walk on the nearby cemetery after sunset. Many people claim they had stones thrown at them. When Ghost Adventures crew visited the hotel, the creepy big clown started moving by itself. No thanks.
Are you telling me that people go to this hotel to get stoned?
Yeah. It's like going to the UAE, isn't it? You know, you can't get drunk, but you can get stoned anytime.
Oh yeah. It seems like, you know, they're quite liberal about getting women stoned over there.
Yeah. It's the only place you can lose your head. Yeah.
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 Don't steal anything. It will cost you an arm and a leg.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So this is getting boring now. Even though fucking really
it's just a collection of bloody rocks, isn't it?
It's so weird. So they've got an element.
Can we sensitively?
People claim they hear footsteps, but I don't think any kids died there, so that's probably bollocks. Hey, Hobbit, do you want to go to the reasonably priced hotel?
Hold on. Whoa.
What?
Wait, are we saying only child ghosts leave footsteps? So has all the adult ghosts got no legs or something? Is that?
Yeah. They also
That's right.
hear rattling and scraping.
If you are a ghostly adult, your legs have rotted off. That's why you're just floating about. But the kids are fresh corpses. You see, they got the legs. They're all right.
So the longer you stay a ghost, the less footsteps you make. Is that it? Like
they got the old Tonopah plague, as they call it.
That's it.
Get yourself down the clinic, lad. Most of Tonopah's ghost stories come from the Mitzpah Hotel. This is a reasonably priced hotel.
The Bar Mitzvah Hotel.
The Mitzpah.
Oh, is there a bar at the Mitzpah Hotel?
Probably.
Is it called the Bar Mitzpah?
the Mitzpah Bar.
The bar at the Mitzpah, yeah.
Yeah, the bar at Mitzpah. This hotel was opened in 1907, and until 1925, this was the highest building in Nevada. But that's not the only thing it's
2 stories?
For. Many guests...
2 stories? Why was that? Why was that, you wonder?
I heard if you want to get really high in Nevada, you go to the Mitzvah Bar.
Yeah, let's go see... Yeah, that's a great trip, isn't it? Let's go see the tallest building in Nevada. It's just a shed.
Yeah.
It's a fucking shed.
Is this sub-Saharan Africa?
Do you want to know about the Lady in Red or not?
Lady in Red, you can see her at the Bar Mitzvah.
Haunting with me.
Cheek to cheek.
Sheet to sheet, isn't it?
Hey. Oh, that's a joke, that is.
Ghosts wear sheets on their head, do you get it? Many guests stood eye to eye with the Lady in Red. She is said to be the ghost of a prostitute who was stabbed and strangled to death by a jealous ex-boyfriend. Well, my God, just pick a lane, pal. You don't need to stab her and strangle her.
Shoot someone who loves you no matter who you are.
The
Maybe it was just,
Lady in Red often appears in the elevator to men who are in there by themselves only. She whispers sexy words. Hey, you. There's nothing more sexy than a bird going, hey, you, in your ear. Wow, sexy.
Yeah, you know.
I've not seen one like that before.
You know, she could just say like fucking eat my pussy out or something. That would be, fucking like.
But no, she goes, oi, you, hey up, lad.
Hey up, you, hey up, lad.
Put up, shut up, and stick your cock up the chuff. I'm Nevada. I'm Tonopah, born and bred.
Hey up, lad. You'll never play for Tonopah.
Do they play cricket at Tonopah?
I don't think so.
I think they bloody well do now. Can't have Lancashire taking the crown.
Yeah. On the 4th floor, a boy and girl are often seen running with each other and play with playful high giggles. The children are unlikely to have known each other in life, but they sure did find each other in death. They like to play innocent tricks.
Hey up, lad. Let's go and chase them whippets at Tonopah.
In the basement, two ghosts of took murders have been seen.
Is Casper the friendly ghost? Is that what they're trying to say? Is where Casper comes from?
No, he's Casper really friendly.
Perhaps that's the reason why the hotel was closed for 12 years. It's renovated completely in 2011, so you're welcome to spend the night. If you dare.
Is this just a thing in America? Like, oh yeah, our hotels are haunted. When was it established? Oh, our hotel goes back as far back as 2017. Yeah. It's been haunted since day one.
What is it with fucking prostitute ghosts in this place? So the tonight.
I know, right?
The Tonopah Liquor Company is home to George Devil Davis.
What the fuck? Liquor. Oh, liquor. I thought you said liquor. I was
not
like,
that kind of liquor.
As in licking, like window licking.
Balls.
Got to liquor.
Balls for baby.
Balls.
Balls. Brown balls are fair. He was a pranker while alive, and not much has changed in death. You can find his grave in the old Tonopah Cemetery. The liquor company is also home to Hattie, a maternal and kind former brothel employee and barmaid.
Is she still alive or is she dead?
Yeah, she's a ghost. So yeah, I think that means she's dead.
It doesn't say she's dead.
Hey, Hattie, I'd like a shandy.
She's a former employee.
Is that unshandy or lager? Hattie loves children, apparently. That's what they say. I don't know what they mean by that.
Yeah.
Dirty fucker. Dirty slag.
Tonopah, how much does she love children? McCann's or Jimmy Savile?
on the scale of Jimmy Savile to Brandon McCann, how much being loved?
The Tonopah Historic Mining Parks Visitor Centre is haunted by a clever and elegant woman whose name is Bin of Roll. Is she a fucking prostitute as well? She was on the run for the law. Wasn't she on the run from the law? I think she was on the run from the law, not for the law, as this suggests. All the way from New York City.
No, she was doing a fun run for the law.
Oh, okay then. For John Q. Law. All the way from New York City and tried to find some peace in Tonopah. Binner died in this town and was buried in the old Tonopah cemetery. Is this getting a bit redundant now that she's buried in the cemetery? She loves looking out the window.
So what you're saying is this place is like a thing that attracts like insects to
yeah.
But they're all prostitutes and they all die there.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying this place is? Right.
I mean, if you're a prostitute in this place, your odds ain't good. She loves looking out the window. You can try and spot her when you dome up the mountain. Do you mean come up the mountain? What?
Dome up the mountain. When you're doming up the mountain when she comes.
She'll be doming up the mountain.
It's one of them Yorkshire phrases you wouldn't understand. Dome up to mountain.
Dome up to mountain. Several other ghosts haunt Tonopah Historic Mining Park. Many people lost their lives here. Visitors and employees claim to hear disembodied voices, and strange things have been captured on camera. Fucking hell, what is wrong with this place?
Strange things is what? That could be anything.
Yeah.
What are the strange things?
What this area is made out of? I mean, could this be sitting on a massive
saline,
like quartz or something?
I was just about to mention the piezoelectric effect because in a lot of these places, and I think this is one that's mentioned.
What are you saying? The jerk-off crystals attracts prostitutes?
Yeah.
I'm saying if you get enough jerk-off crystals in one place, you will get ghostly apparitions of horny whores. And it's like the whores.
Crystals.
Gotta be
You got to charge them up, you see, and the earthquakes really charge up the jerk-off crystals like big time. The big charge up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dead hookers like supercharged jerk-off crystals, don't they?
Dead hookers tell no jerk-off crystal lies.
And then there's the Amagosa Opera House and Hotel. In 1967, Marta Beckett's car broke down. This is just generally Death Valley now. I've gone away from Tonopah.
All right.
Marta Beckett's car broke down, and in the almost ghost town of Death Valley Junction, she fixed the car but never left. Instead, something compelled her to take over the abandoned Cork Hill Hall, which was originally constructed by the Pacific Coast Borax Company. Is borax one of those things? I bet. Is that a spooky mineral?
Oh, borax is they use it for making boric acid. I'm sorry, I can't tell you whether it's piezoelectric or not.
Okay, so continue.
By the time she stumbled across it, it was rotting away. Blah blah blah. She reopened it. Blah blah blah. It didn't say there's any ghost there. That's not weird, is it? What's weird about that?
She just. What's weird is she stopped and decided, I'm going to take over this place now. This is mine now.
Join up the hotel rises. Driving up, the hotel rises unexpectedly from the harsh alkaline. So you're not driving up there because, whoa, there's a fucking hotel there. Who put that there? Alkaline landscape, white on white. Inside, the air feels perpetually chilly despite the regular 110-degree temperatures. Well, wouldn't that be the construction style of it?
Well, you'd think so, right? Because that's what they do in Spain.
Yeah.
To keep the houses cool, right?
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, it's white on the outside.
Inside.
It's white on the outside. There's like construction
white on the inside.
They do. Like, I learnt this when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So there are some ghosts in here. Mules peek out of cracked stucco corners and hallways. Cherubs, a nun, a parrot on a chain perch, and Marta haunting the desert as a dancing spirit. Room 24 is said to harbour the crying ghost of a child who drowned in a bathtub in 1967. Room 32 is known for a malevolent presence. In room number 9, the most haunted, a presence holds down guests' legs and feet and turns the doorknob. A section known as Spooky Hollow, once the miners' dormitory, hospital and morgue, was never reopened. Spooky Hollow is blocked off to all visitors, and the staff won't talk about it, so don't ask the staff about it.
What? Why?
Just don't, Fraser. Just don't.
No, you want to.
Don't ask the fucking staff about it.
Yeah.
Don't you dare.
Well, they'll bum you to death.
At all. Do not. If you go there, do not. Oh, that's it. We were going to do the stones, weren't they? Where's the bit with the stones? Ah, the staling. Oh, someone solved it, I bet.
Have they?
Yeah, if I put it back in, here you go. I'll put it back at the bottom. So, most recent Hobbit. Do you want to do this one?
Oh, yeah. Let's have a link then.
Yeah.
MPS.
Actually, should we do the talk about the sailing stones first, and then we'll talk about how, like, we're all talking bollocks and it's actually been solved?
Yeah, go on then.
Sailing stones, Death Valley. Oh shit! Didn't you have a Snopes article about the stones?
No, I'm just saying Snopes would probably be like, "Oh, guys, the stones, they just move around. It's totally natural, bro." I'll have to. Let's see. The stones of Death Valley mystery. Because I think it was New Scientist that talked about it. Oh, earthsky.org. Right, so what moves the sailing stones of Death Valley? Shall I read this?
That's
or shall
one
I
of the stones at Racetrack Player.
Oh, actually, this link you got here, mps.gov, it talks about how it's solved. Yeah, this is back in 2014. Oh, yeah. Oh, so did you want me to read it out?
The sailing stones, also called sliding rocks, walking rocks, rolling stones, and moving rocks, are part of the geological phenomenon. They're a totally geological phenomenon in which rocks move.
No, it's just two men with a plank
along a smooth valley floor without animal intervention. The movement of the rocks occurs when large, thin sheets of ice floating on the ephemeral winter pond move and break up due to... Ah, there we go.
No, it's two blokes that are drunk at 3 a.m. and they get their planks of wood. And they move them about with the planks of wood, and that's how it's done.
So the racetrack stones speckle the player floor, predominantly in the southern portion. The historical accounts identify some stones around 100 metres from the shore, yet most of the stones are found relatively close to their respective originating outcrops. 3 lithologic types are identified. Syenite, which is a coarse-grained intrusive igneous rock with a general composition similar to that of granite but deficient in quartz. So this one has... So that one has
a rich source of cyanide.
So also dolomite.
Yeah. We all like our dolomite crystals here at the,
and then black dolomite as well.
We don't talk about black dolomite. That's the one you find in Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Martin Luther King Jr. Reverend Boulevard.
So, stones with rough bottoms leave straight striated tracks, Well, those with smooth
That
bottom,
was my street name.
Tend to wonder what rough bottom.
Rough bottom was my street name.
Smooth bottom was Keir Starmer's.
Yeah. Yeah.
The stones sometimes turn over, exposing another edge to the ground and leaving a different track in the stone's wake. Like I say, there's an example one I've put up there. It's just ice, bro. I think, is it?
It's just. Look, it's very simple, right? Ice gets underneath them. It lifts up these like multiple ton rocks, and then wind just blows them out. They just go skidding around. Simple, right? You know, these rocks, some of them weighing as much as 320 kilograms or 700 pounds. You know, just totally blown around by the slight breezes in the morning, bro.
So there are 5 things that you need. 6 things. A balance of specific conditions. It's a balance, Hobbit.
Oh yeah, it's a balance. When the balance is just right, yeah.
So you need a flooded...
You get the balance just right. Well, between gravity and moving this 320 kilogram rock.
So you need something. A flooded surface, a thin layer of clay, wind, ice flows, warming temperatures causing ice breakup. Suck on my float in salty rocks. Ooh, wow. That didn't work.
Put them in your mouth and suck on them.
So you need a flooded surface, a thin layer of clay, wind, ice flows, warming temperatures causing ice breakup, and you too can have your rocks skidding around your garden.
Oh, you know, it's just it's like ice skaters. They just gracefully glide around Death Valley.
I take it that this is replicable, then, is it?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, everybody knows Death Valley, well known for its icy cold mornings. Someone's gonna actually, it's really cold in the deserts at night because there's no cloud cover.
Yeah. So at Racetrack Player, these tracks have been studied since the early 1900s. Yet the origins of stone movement were not confirmed, and remain the subject of research for which several hypotheses existed. However, as of August 2014. Time-lapse video footage of rocks moving has been published, showing the rocks moving at high speeds within the flow of thin melting sheets of ice. Scientists have thus identified the cause of the moving stones to be ice shove, which is totally real, bro.
Yep.
Anyway, Hobbit, tell us how this got.
Racetrack Playa is home to one of Death Valley's most enduring mysteries.
Ooh.
Littered across the flat, dry surface of this dry lake.
Racetrack Playa.
So, across this dry surface, littered across the flat, dry surface of this dry lake, also called a playa, which is interesting because I think that's Spanish for beach. Anyway, are hundreds of rocks, some weighing as much as 320 kilograms. They seem to have been dragged across the ground, often leaving synchronized trails that could be stretched for hundreds of meters. What powerful force could be moving them? There's 2 blokes and a plank of wood. We've been over this.
Yeah.
Research have investigated this question since the 1940s, but no one has ever seen the process in action until now. In a new paper published in August 27 plus 1, a team led by the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, UC San Diego, biologist of the Earth, Richard Norris, reported on the first-hand observations of the phenomena. Because the stones can sit for a decade or more without moving, researchers did not originally expect to see motion in person. Instead, they decided to monitor the rocks remotely by installing a high-resolution weather station capable of measuring gusts to 1-second intervals and fitting 15 rocks with custom-built, motion-activated GPS units. Brackets. The Park Service could not let them use native rocks, so they brought in similar rocks from an outside source. Oh, I see, yeah. We got these curling stones with Teflon bottoms, and, you know, because the park says, oh, no.
Also Keir Starmer's street name, Teflon Bottom.
Yeah, the park says, like, no, guys, you can't put a GPS tag on these rocks because you just can't, okay? Because reasons.
Is good for moving mould.
All right. The experiment...
Robot says, ghost prozzies in your area, ready to fuck.
Ghost prostitutes in your area? They're closer than you think.
Robot also says they can't hire illegals under the table anymore, so the ghost has to hire prozzy ghosts.
Are you about to bust a nut, young couples? Then call Ghostbusters now.
Robot is loving this ghost prozzy stuff because he's also said, imagine being a ghost and you still have a prostitute gig.
Oh, you know, I'm still on the game. I haven't let death get me down. They're going to be like one of those people that win the lottery. It's like, I won't give up my day job. Yeah, but your day job's being a whore. Yeah, and I'm not going to give it up.
Only ghosts.
Only ghosts.
The experiment was set up in winter.
In the future, it'll just be slags showing their beaver. Like, this house is haunted. It's got some bitch showing her beaver all the time.
It gives a new meaning to the term "ladies of the night."
Yeah.
So the experiment was set up in winter 2011 with permission of the National Park Service. Then, in what Ralph Lorenz of the Applied Physics Laboratory at Johns Hopkins University, one of the paper's authors, suspected would be the most boring experiment ever. They waited for something to happen.
So they're fake. So they're not even like proper rocks then. So
no, they just put in a couple of footballs, and it's like, oh, there was a slight gust of wind, and it moved these footballs around.
Like the service station footballs, you know, like the shittiest, lightest footballs you can get.
I'm sorry to breaking Twitter news. Somebody called Jameson the Penguin, assuming he's a Scouse, has added you to the list, and it's of the famous West Country meatball delicacy.
You're on the list?
Yes, it's that word we're not allowed to use on YouTube about British cultural cuisine, because apparently that's a no-no word. We're not allowed to talk about the things that are served in gravy with mushy peas.
I've been accused of being. Oh, okay then. I did a bit of an Andrew Lawrence myself. There was Russian paedophile who killed girl during brutal rape. So he broke the child's legs to stop it crying. So I said, "How's that supposed to stop her crying?" Obviously, so I made a joke. I'm sorry. Sorry, I done did a joke. Sorry. Sorry, I did a joke, people. Sorry, do apologise.
I don't. These I'm looking at these pictures here. These posts. They seem just like reasonable people, just talking about various random. I'm guessing for whatever reason, this Scouse is like really upset with certain people for various reasons, and it's just like, well, all right, whatever. Right. Boring experiments. But in December 2013, Norris and co-author James Norris of Interworth and what? These aren't real. But in December 2013, Norris and co-author James Norris of Interworth and Richard's cousin. Who are these people they're talking about? Look, your guess is as good as mine. Arrived in Death Valley to discover that the playa was covered with a shallow pond no more than 7 centimeters deep. Shortly after, the rocks began moving.
How about this to reply then? So he said, how disgusting. He actually said in a fucking tweet. How disgusting. Someone needs to check this rat's hard drive. All these accounts are the same. Incels, nonces, wife beaters, blah, blah, blah. So I've said...
He nailed you there. He said nailed you there. I mean, he's nailed you to a T there.
It's just full of pics of your mum. Let's go for your mum. Let's go for it.
Sure.
I should have put and dad.
No.
We won't know his dad. He's from
classic.
Liverpool, isn't he? Fuck Liverpool.
Probably doesn't have a dad.
Google Mr. Brown's AC. What? Sorry, Hobbit. Anyway, as you were saying, Is it civil war between like normal people and Scousers?
Look at this guy, Jameson the Penguin. He says, official penguin of Dave's Gran, a unique penguin of colour who enjoys tuna fish tacos and baiting middle-aged white women off Twitter. Somebody from Fairfax, Virginia.
Fairfax, Virginia?
Fairfax, what?
I don't know who this person is, but they just sound like trouble, so yeah. Right, so what's this thing on about? Summer 2013, that expect to wait 5 years without anything moving, but only 2 years into the project, we just happened to be there at the right time to see it happen in person. Their observations show that moving the rocks requires a rare combination of events. First, the playa fills with water, which must be deep enough to allow formation of floating ice during cold winter nights, but shallow enough to expose the rocks. As nighttime temperatures plummet, the pond freezes to form sheets of window pane ice, which must be thin enough to move freely, but thick enough to maintain strength. On sunny days, the ice begins to melt and break up into large floating panels, which light winds drive across the playa pool. The ice sheets shove rocks in front of them, and the moving stones leave trails in the soft mud bed below the pool surface. On December 21st, 2013, ice breakup happened just before noon, with popping and cracking sounds coming from all over the frozen pond surface, said Richard Norris. I said to Jim, this is it. These observations are surprising in light of previous models, which had proposed hurricane-force winds, dust devils, slick algal films, or thick sheets of ice as likely contributors to rock motion. Instead, rocks moved under light winds of about 3 to 5 meters per second, which is 10 miles an hour, and were driven by ice less than 5 millimeters, quarter of an inch, too thin to grip large rocks and lift them off the playa, which several papers have proposed as a mechanism to reduce friction. Further, the rocks moved only a few inches per second, so about 2 to 6 meters per minute, a speed that is almost imperceptible at a distance and without stationary reference points. It's possible that tourists have actually seen this happening without realizing it, said Jim Norris. It is really tough to gauge that the rock is in motion if all the rocks around it are also in motion. Individual rocks remained in motion from anywhere from a few seconds to 16 minutes. In one event, the researchers observed that the rocks 3 football fields apart began moving simultaneously and travelled over 60 meters, that's 200 foot, before stopping. Rocks often moved multiple times before reaching their final resting place. Researchers also observed rockless trails formed by grounding ice panels, features that the Park Service had previously suspected were the result of tourists seeding rocks. The last suspected movement was in 2006, and so the rocks may move only about 1/millionth of their time, said Lawrence. There is also evidence that the frequency of rock movement, which seems to require cold names to form ice, may have declined since the 1970s due to climate change. Richard and Jim Norris and co-author Jib Ray of Interworth. The fuck are these names?
Interworth?
Jib. Yeah, it's called Interworth. I know no idea why it's called Interworth. Started studying the racetrack's moving rocks to solve the public mystery and set up the Slithering Stones Research Initiative. Science for the fun of it, to engage in a wild circle of friends in the effort. They needed the help to repeatedly visit the remote dry lake, quarry rocks for GPS instrumented stones, and design the custom-built instrumentation. Ralph Lorenz and Brian Jackson of the Department of Physics, Boise State University, in contrast, started working on the phenomenon.
I think that's the only place I know in America.
Bibbidi-Bong, Idaho.
Boise, Idaho.
Yeah, Bibbidi-Bong. Bibbidi-Bong. In contrast, started working on the phenomena to study dust devils and other desert weather features that might have analogues to Rose says is happening in other planets. What is striking about prior research on the racetrack is that almost everybody was doing the work not to gain fame or fortune, but because it is such a neat problem, said Jim Norris. So is the mystery of the sliding rocks finally solved? We documented the 5 move events in 2.5 months. The pond existed and some involved hundreds of rocks, said Richard Norris. So we have been seen even in Death Valley, famous for its heat. Floating ice is a powerful force driving rock motion. But we have not seen the really big boys move out there. Does that work the same way? Death Valley National Park wants to remind people that the racetrack is located in a remote area of the park, and road conditions are variable at best, requiring high-clearance vehicles and heavy-duty tires. Do not attempt a trip to the racetrack without plenty of fuel and water. There is no cell phone service in the area. Be prepared for the possibility of spending the night if you're... prison cells. A more easily accessible location to observe the tracks of sliding stones is the Bonnie Clare Playa east of Scotty's Castle, between the park boundary and Highway 95. The south shore of the playa runs right along the north side of Highway 72. The area is administered by the Bureau of Land Management. There is abundant evidence of sliding stones at this playa, which is believed to experience the same rock-moving conditions as the racetrack.
Only with different rocks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that some sort of? Does that make it more? Does that make it more like probable that they're right if they use different stones?
Why don't you just watch the stones to see if they moved?
I think that's what they did. They did like a time lapse thing, didn't they? Or somebody did a time lapse thing. I mean, does this happen I mean, surely this should happen everywhere where these conditions occur, shouldn't they?
Well, you'd think, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're saying the conditions got to be right. It's got to be not too thick, not too thin. Otherwise, it's going to be stuck. So I don't know. Do not know. Oh. You know what?
What?
I really want to I want a nap. You know when you've had one of those you know when you've had one of those days and
No.
No?
Tell us
Oh, okay. Well, I've had one of those days and oh god. You know what I've been reminded of? Do you remember that advert Honda did? The one with all the parts, and they'd make a Rupert Goldberg machine with the various bits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been reminded of that now, and there's no sliding stones in this, but there is like the fan from its radiator, and then it's got this bit where it's got the silencer in the exhaust. The fan knocks it down, and then it goes rolling across the floor, and then it hits like the I think it's the clutch. No, it's all the foot pedals. That's not just the clutch mechanism. Oh, and then it hits a tire, and then the tire goes flying, and then other bits. Well, those are con rods from the engine, and oh, there's a window, car window, and is that that's a car phone? Hang on. No, that's a car battery. Anyway, the Honda Accord advert was from 2003, but I seem to remember. No, it can't be 22 years ago. Apparently, that's 22.
What's 22 years ago?
The Honda Accord advert. Where you see the slidings.
Oh, Honda. Do you remember that old bloke used to go, oh, Honda cars are great? Do you remember those ones?
I do remember the car in front is a Toyota.
They did those ones like the infomercials, didn't they? When they go, Honda engines are great. We're all brilliant. It's fantastic. You should buy a Honda.
I mean, there is that thing with the with the Honda, the small engines they make, like for stationary generators and chainsaws and mopeds, and everyone sort of like rants and raves about like the CG125 being one of the only motorbikes to get through the Paris to Dakar rally. No sliding stones have been observed in the Paris to Dakar rally. But I don't even know why they call it the Paris to Dakar rally now, because now it's like they go from Paris to like some bit in Spain, and then they all take a ferry to Brazil or somewhere, because it's like, sorry, can't go through Western Sahara anymore, because one, it's not a real country, which, you know, what is a real country?
It isn't though, is it? It's just a plot of land no one wants.
Exactly. It's like the car. Like, here in my car, I'm as safe as can be. Oh no, wait, that's a lie. I just want to do this Gary Newman bit in the Central African Republic. Yeah. No, the Paris to Dakar rally doesn't go through the Western Sahara anymore, because you know that bit in episode 1, The Phantom Menace, where they're in Death Valley and you got the sand people and they're shooting at Anakin Skywalker along with the other contestants, and you know, just is the sand people, you know, that they SA'd his mum and then set her on fire. Oh, do we have a TikTok equivalent of that yet? They lit her up.
Yeah.
Yo, dog. My fam.
Yo, dog.
Yo, dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they call it a hot dog.
A hot dog? She was a hot dog, yeah. She got hot dogged by the sand people of Tatooine. Yeah. And Anakin was right to go back to that planet and end them all. Except he didn't end them all. Because, well, that's the thing. He didn't end them all, though, did he? Because he went over to what's that place?
I assume there are like many different. Because aren't they kind of analogous to like the Bedouin or something? So I assume like he didn't kill every single last.
No, he
killed all the little ones as well.
That's just your imagination, and that's just Jedi propaganda. There's no analogy between that and the real world, just like there's no analogy between the Trade Federation and a certain like place that calls himself communist but actually quite capitalist, or a certain like species of flying thing which Jedi mind tricks don't work on, and be like, your credits are no good here.
Yeah.
You know. I wonder what that was all about. Hey Annie!
Hey Annie!
I got a new slave owner. He's gonna buy you, slave. Yeah, interesting. The flying creature had a small hat and owned slaves and was willing to trade slaves. What's that about?
It's just fiction, Hobbit.
Yeah, that's it. There's no analogy between it and real world. Seen Late Night with the Devil?
Yeah, I did actually.
What did you think of it? They never explained the sliding stones in that film. So what else can we say about Death Valley? Black Beauty is a horse with no name. Gallops along, does a lot of things. I hope people can hear me singing. It just seems to be me by myself. Hello audience. So now I have your attention. I'd like to take this opportunity to say, deserts, what are they all about? Now, here's a theory which Hemi's talking about. So this isn't my own. It's hello.
Hello. Hi.
Yeah, we're listening, Hobbit.
Hi. Yeah, we are.
Okay. So here's a theory.
Sleep or anything.
Sorry, I'm at war with Scousland at the moment on Twitter.
Oh, fair enough. It's just when you were both going very quiet, I just thought they're not interrupting me when I'm trying to do the horse with no name to Black Beauty bit. You've already told me it doesn't scan.
You told me it doesn't scan. You know it doesn't scan.
Yeah, I know, but you told me it doesn't scan either. So we both agreed it doesn't scan, and yet here I was doing it. So there's this thing, and I'm not saying it explains everything about Death Valley, but I do kind of find it interesting that you got these crystals, right? And it's not a Fortean subject, these crystals. I'm going to talk about piezoelectric effects. Very simple. I mean, you might have heard of piezo tweeters or other people that talk about earpieces, that piezo. And all it means to say is that instead of it being a voice coil, which is an electromagnet, you've got a crystal there. And you put electricity into the crystal and it will start vibrating. And it will vibrate at different frequencies, and that's why you can use it as a speaker or an earphone. It also works in reverse. The pressure waves from sound or other things will cause electricity to course through the crystal. Now, the most dramatic sample I can think of that is if you put like a quartz crystal in the vice and start squeezing on it, you'll see sparks of lightning shoot out of the thing. Well, I'll say sparks of light. Yeah, actually, a spark is a small piece of lightning, and you'll see that shoot right out of it. So, very interesting. Where Watto explains how his species been exiled from 109 other planets due to well, you see, the Republic, for whatever reason, didn't like Watto, and that's why he
said where Watto stopped aid getting through to the Sand People. Oh no, this is terrible.
Yeah, wasn't there that scene where Watto was seen dancing as the Death Star, and then the second Death Star has been blown up?
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's about, but apparently there was this bit where people on Tatooine were like really struggling for food. And Watto said that he'd give them a couple of crumbs if they agreed to appear in a dirty movie that he was making. And he never did give them the food in the end, but he did give them some fentanyl, which, what's fentanyl doing on a planet in a galaxy far, far away? Watto is listed in the credits as a producer. Yeah. Oh, Interdimensional Lizard saying DJ Piezo. Yeah, he's well known. If you put DJ Tiesto in the Vice, he does start making noises. But this is the thing: if you get like an earthquake or even just an earth tremor, you'll get lightning zap out of these crystals, and it's just what happens when you scale it up to the sort of vast amounts that are in the earth. Don't know, really. I do not know.
Is the Jinna trapped in there a bit?
Well, something's trapped in there, and when you squeeze it, electricity shoots out. So, I mean, if that's not Jinn, I don't know what is.
Ectoplasm. Yeah.
I actually have. If we're done with this bit, because I'm.
You okay?
I'm being distracted. Someone's like DMing me stuff.
Have you got the Scousers in your notifications as well?
Say what you like about Scousers, they can really take a fucking joke.
Oh, I've shut him up now. He goes, "You got a girlfriend? You got a girlfriend?" So I said, "Boris Johnson was right." He goes, "So I said, no then, thanks for confirming I already knew." I said, "Now he's reaching, I might have a boyfriend." And that seems to shut him up.
So it is. This is something from the Jerusalem Post, right? And it's about an asteroid.
Yeah.
And it's called 2025 KF.
Yeah.
And it's the size of 12.5 gorillas. And it's set to pass. I think it's the size of a quarter of a double-decker bus. That's 9/11 times.
Gorillas is not a standard journalistic measurement. What the fuck's going on? This needs to be investigated and sorted out.
Why is Aaron Reich of the Jerusalem Aaron Reich of the Jerusalem Post? It's an interesting name there, Mr.
Is he a junior, a third Reich, or is he a fourth Reich?
I mean, I don't know what he was talking about 1,000 years of his tenureship at the Jerusalem Post, but I don't know what that's on about. I mean, how is he going to live 1,000 years? An asteroid the size of 12.5 fully grown gorillas is set to... Why didn't he say instead of 12.5 fully grown gorillas?
Standards are in the fucking toilet. Not an Olympic swimming pool. It's not a double-decker bus. It's not stacks of A4
It's not an elephant.
What kind of measurement is a fucking gorilla? Nobody knows how heavy a gorilla is. What if it's a skinny gorilla?
He says here that 12.5 fully... Why didn't he say, if only there was like something which was... like not as big as a fully grown gorilla. If only there was a child of a fully grown gorilla.
Why is he doing it? Was he not doing it in capybaras?
An asteroid,
Labrador.
Yeah, the size of
Labrador. Everyone knows how big a Labrador is. Why can't he do it in Labradors?
An asteroid the size of 12 fully grown gorillas and 46 capybaras.
I thought it was 12.5 grown gorillas, man.
How many capybaras to the gorilla? Oh, my car's a bit thirsty. It gets like 1 capybara per chimp. So an asteroid's the size of...
That kid in that video sure had 1 capybara per chimp, didn't it? Didn't he?
Yeah, it did. So,
right in the mush.
Took it like a champ, though. He did. He took it like a champ, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking rock hard.
An asteroid the size of an asteroid the size of 1 elephant is set to pass the Earth on Wednesday, May the 21st.
Oh, how many times have we had doomsday asteroid gonna kill us? Yeah. We have it once every Friday. It's fucking annoying.
To be fair, though, I mean, if an asteroid the size of an elephant was to land on Bombay, it could cause millions of rupees of improvement. According to NASA's asteroid tracker, the asteroid in question was discovered...
Good job you didn't say that about Liverpool, Hobbit.
Oh, God, never hear the fucking end of it. Yeah. Oh, like Liverpool's been struck by a nuclear bomb from Ukraine. Yes, it's estimated to have caused hundreds of pounds of improvement. The asteroid in question was discovered only this year and has been dubbed 2025 KF. As noted by the Centre for Near-Earth Object Studies, SNEEDS, formerly Chuck's Asteroid Observatory, and NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, the JPL. While the asteroid won't impact the Earth, its current calculated trajectory will bring it far closer to than most other near-Earth objects, or also known as the NEOs, that pass our planet. So, asteroids are usually thought of as being massive solid rocks spreading through space, coupled with the threat of potentially slowing into an unsuspecting and defenseless planet. As asteroid 2025 KF is certainly big, relative to humans at least, however, in terms of other asteroids, they're a bit smaller. The estimated diameter being as much as 23 meters. I mean, hang on, let me just look here for a second. How big is an adult elephant? I must know.
How many elephants to a gorilla? How many gorillas do an elephant?
Wow. Oh, great. Baby elephant size is 2 to 3
How many capybaras can take on a gorilla? Oh, what do you think?
Would you rather fight 1,000 capybaras or 100 elephants? Or 100... No, would you... What are those weird fucking questions?
One gorilla. Yeah, it's like one gorilla or like 1,000 capybaras.
That's it. Would you rather fight 10... Would you rather fight 5 capybara-sized gorillas or one gorilla-sized capybara? And it's like those kind of questions, isn't it?
So, in this one, it's like, would you rather fight an asteroid comprised of capybaras, or keep Rachel from accounts from Keir Starmer's drink cabinet whilst he's gone off to the kitchen? Oh, Angela from accounts, Rachel from accounts. Angela and Rachel are both from the Counts, as far as I know. One's from HR. Right, so an elephant, its length is up to 24 feet and its height is 13 foot. So this, it's as much as 10 elephants. He says here, to put that in a more human perspective, so he's talking about 23 meters, let's take a look at one of the closest relatives to humanity, the Liverpudlian. According to the World Wildlife Fund, the average
relative.
Yes. According to the World Wildlife Fund, the average scouse can grow as much as 6 feet in height, or 1.8 meters when converted to the metric system and rounded down. So if we divide 23 by 1.8, we get approximately 12.5. With that in mind, we can confidently say that asteroid 2025 KF is the size of around 12.5 fully grown scousers that have yet to be flattened by a van. Or is it? While asteroids often thought as big solid rocks, that isn't always the case. Many asteroids are actually what known as rubble piles, which are big collections of smaller scousers and dust held together by benefits and sick. They are no less dangerous than other scousers, such as the huge concentrated amount of rubble impacting a planet can still be very destructive. However, it does mean that the actual size of an asteroid is flexible, much like a scouser's work schedule. When the rubble pile asteroid passes by a sufficient source of gravity, such as a Greg's or a job centre, the pull of gravity will cause the scousers to shift, with some parts stretching out and changing shape. This doesn't impact the volume of the scouser, which can contain empty pockets inside, because they're fucking poor as they never work. The work, shall I say, to bastards, a lot of them. But it does change the total length and width, so who knows if it will stay the same size for long. We may need more scousers. As far as scousers go...
Why are we not just importing scousers and not like people from Africa then?
No. Look, when I make Reform version 2, my platform will be to port all scousers back to Rwanda. So, the Rwandans might declare war on us, but I think it's an acceptable thing. The loser has to accept scousers in their country.
Look,
as far
that Hobbit is cruel and unusual punishment.
I mean, I might have to go to The Hague for it, but look, somebody has to deal with the scouse question. Yeah. As far as asteroids go, 2025 KF is on the smaller side.
Naming an asteroid after Kiwi Farms, 2025 KF.
Yeah, that's it. It's on the smaller size. Generally speaking, most asteroids burn up in Earth's atmosphere upon impact. Well, except if they're in Earth's atmosphere, they're not impacting, are they? They're burning up in the atmosphere. Impact means they've impacted with the ground. Aaron Reich, you're not very smart, are you? Should 2025 KF actually impact the Earth, the result would likely be a very loud airburst explosion, but not one that should pose significant danger, if any, to the planet. Compare that to the power of a scouse. These huge, muscled, afro-wearing track-suited primates are very strong, thought to be as much as 9 times stronger than even the most trained of human beings, not to mention having a bite force so strong that it can scram right through a pie at half-time. In a one-on-one fight, not many animals would easily match up to the strength of a scouser, humans including. Lately, the internet has been abuzz with the debate of 100 scousers versus one van. But let's take that scenario and alter it for our purposes. 100 scousers versus one asteroid. But it isn't really a debate.
How many scousers to a gorilla?
About 70.
Yeah.
An asteroid would absolutely destroy 100 scousers. Luckily, there isn't any danger of an asteroid impact anytime soon. And when asteroid 2025 KF is going to find closer to Earth than most asteroids, all the Gregs in Liverpool will still be open at just around 11,000 kilometres away. It still doesn't pose any risk of hitting the Earth. But since an asteroid impact still has potential to be a global catastrophe, especially when the Gregs are closed, Scientists would have been working hard to develop countermeasures. Oh, and sorry, the home and bargains as well, because that's the other thing as well. Scousers need to put the ampersand in home bargains and call it home and bargain. It's home and bargain. When you go to, I'm trying to think of another shop which has got two names in it. It's Weight and Laws. It's Morris and Sons. It's Sains and Berries. It's Tess and Cause. It's Tess and Cause. It's Tessa Cause. Fucking Scousers. We're not there yet, but we're getting closer, showing that while 100 Scousers can't do anything against an asteroid, humans have a much better matchup. So that's Jerusalem Post. So I think it was Alphabet Cat that shared it. Oh, this is another thing as well. It's a bit of a weird one here. But have you seen this thing as car seats as contraception?
No.
Yes.
Right.
I did see that.
The car seats as contraception is a bit of a weird one. It's one of those things of. It's contraception in the way of China's one-child policy was contraception. So there's a very boring abstract here, and I'll just read that out for you. We love reading abstract white papers here. Abstract. Since 1977, US states have passed laws steadily raising the age for which a child must ride in the car safety seat. These laws significantly raise the cost of having a third child, as many regular-sized cars can offer free child seats in the back. Using census data and state year variation in laws, we estimate that when women have two children of ages requiring mandated car seats, they have a low annual probability of giving birth by 0.73 percentage points. Consistent with a causal channel, this effect is limited to third child births, is concentrated in households with access to a car, and is larger when a male is present. When both front seats are likely to be occupied, we estimate that these laws prevented only 57 car crash fatalities of children nationwide in 2017. Simultaneously aluminum, they led to a permanent reduction of approximately 88,000 births in the same year, and 145,000 fewer births since 1980, with 90% of this decline being since 2000. So in other words, these laws saying you've got to have child car safety seats and stuff. Well, look, we're not having sex tonight because we can't fit another child in the car. So, yeah. Well done legislating against, why don't people have more than two children? I don't know, because you've made it incredibly expensive to. Oh, just get another child. It's not that expensive. Right, okay, we're going to go and do a weekly shopping. Let's, shall we draw lots to see which child we leave at home with the pit bull?
Well, you can,
and which two we
have
take?
A maximum of 3, can't you? If they've all got to wear a seatbelt.
Well, they're saying no, that the cars haven't got enough room to put
we see cars these days. You know, this isn't 1990s anymore, but fucking.
I've looked inside these
now, aren't they?
Yeah, but that's the problem.
They're tiny. They're all fucking clown cars, mate. They're all fucking clown cars.
They're bloated, but on the inside, right. So this is the thing. The cars, much like an obese person in their heart, it all gets squeezed by the fat from all the sides. So Royce's heart is very big, but it's being squeezed into a very small space. And likewise, when you're in one of these fat new cars,
Stone Barry had an enlarged heart.
Yeah, well, yeah. He had a fat heart. But the thing is with but you see, 55 Stone Barry also had he was carrying around the equivalent of a Luton van to haul all his body around.
Yeah.
If you look at these modern cars, they've got less space in them than a car from 20 years ago. Because they've already got the mandated things like, sorry, these crash pit pillars need to be 5 times the thickness of what they once were. And, no, you couldn't get away with an A pillar being that size anymore because it might not survive a crash at 40 miles an hour.
You ever seen that video with that lad where his mum's a midget and he does the trombone? He follows her around with a trombone.
No, that sounds good. John and Lewis, sexual and assault. Is that a shop in Liverpool, Section and Assault?
I don't know. Anyway, do you want to carry on with some Death Valley, or are we doing 2 weeks of Death Valley?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you had more stuff about Death Valley.
I got loads more. We were going to talk about with Charles Manson. We've got Paul Whipkey.
Oh, this sounds like
Devil's Hole. We've got a cult to talk about as well. There's the Carlos Castaneda. You heard about them?
Yes, I have actually.
Yeah. Carlos Castaneda. He was wandering around Death Valley as well.
And wasn't Crystal Cole Neuro Soup? We covered that in the episode about LSD and the nuclear bunker.
Yeah.
Isn't she in Nevada as well?
Oh, might be.
So.
So do you want to do some unexplained mysteries, and then we'll finish this next week?
Well,
do you want to do Paul Whipkey quick, and then do some more next week?
Well, that's the other bit, you see, because I thought, we could do that, but there's also like all these bits from the Fortean Words channel. Now, it's t.me/Fortean Words, and there's all sorts of things in there. And there's this one, like, for example, inmate Stephen Sanderson tells how he killed child molester cellmate. And then
a bit like Robert Morsley. That's one of our old episodes. He's what did we do? The Monster Mansion. We did a show on Monster Mansion, which is I can't remember which.
It was a Monster Mansion. It was a scary place. It was a Monster Mansion. It was a horrible place. Anyway, court cam, convicted murderer. Matter of fact, he admits to another killing. Oh yeah, so he just I didn't like my cellmate, so I did a murder. What's this bit here? What's this clip that Craig shared? Keir Starmer's got some nerve. So he's sitting behind King and Queen, and he's staring at the Queen.
We've got a new bullshit particle, the dark photons.
Oh yeah, they're often seen around. Well, they're not really seen, are they? Those CCTV cameras all around London, which will like find you with ANPR stuff. The dark photons get into them when someone nicks your car or does a stabbing, because they never fucking work for those. But they all seem.
How about this one then? The guy who got all the ingredients for the jab and then called poison control about them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then you bring up poison control and just think, hey, I'm wondering how much of this mercury is safe to inject on my body, and then poison control's like, no, don't be crazy. Don't inject any poison. There's no safe dosage of mercury to inject your body. It's like, oh, really? Because there's this thing called thimerosal, and it's in my jab.
So you got
that's different.
Or formalin, highly toxic, systematic poison.
Formaldehyde.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that they put into corpses, right? Formaldehyde. The embalming fluid.
Pickling.
Corpses.
No, I don't think they use it in corpses. It's like jars of brains and things like that. It's more like it's a preservative, isn't it? I don't know if they use it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's used in what's the process called for dealing with corpses? I can't remember.
Embalming.
That's the word I was thinking of. Yeah. What else we got? Beta propyolactone.
Yeah, that's easy for you to say.
Toxic chemical and carcinogen, may cause death, permanent injury after very short exposure to small quantities, corrosive chemical.
Here we go. Yeah. So next one, and this is one of those ones which really rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Hexyldecatrimethylammonium bromide.
Yeah.
May cause damage to the liver, cardiovascular system, and central nervous system. May cause reproductive effects and birth defects. Oh, and there is this one which you'll see in deodorants: aluminium hydroxide, aluminium phosphate, aluminium salts, neurotoxins, Alzheimer's, basically.
Like brain swelling, yeah.
Interesting fact, right? Amongst all breast cancer biopsies, they because occasionally, like surgeons or oncologists, they take the tumors out of the breast and then they slice them open. One of the things they always find is Candida fungus, so that's given now, so that's interesting. So maybe antifungals could help with that. But the other thing they find with it is all have got these aluminium salts in. Now, I'm not saying be a stinky fucking hippie, but I am saying maybe don't spray aluminium salts into your pores. And also, if you're thinking of breathing when they got chemtrails out, don't breathe, because if you're breathing that into your lungs, it's gonna give you Alzheimer's. Oh no, not just Alzheimer's, dementia and autism. Penetrates the brain where it persists indefinitely. Here's everybody's favourite, thimerosal.
Yeah, what's the safe dose of mercury?
The safe dose for mercury is 0. Now, there's two things.
Do you remember at school with the thermometers when they go, "Don't you dare fucking drop that! You'll kill everybody in the whole room." Do you remember? And that was one thermometer of mercury.
When I was in when I was doing medical science, I accidentally we had mercury thermometers because they're more accurate than the alcohol ones. And unfortunately, I did break one. And as soon as I did, I held my breath, and I sort of I did the mercury sign, which was like the student says, "Oh, where are you off to?" He's looking at me because obviously I'm walking away from my experiment, the Bunsen burner's lit and everything's. And he said, "What are you doing now?" I'm holding my breath and just go mercury, and pointing to it. It's like, "Oh, okay." So everyone gets out of the class. We're all evacuated from the class. Yeah. He goes into the stores to put on the hazmat equipment, so he's got his bunny suit on, and he goes back into it, the dustpan and brush and some kaolin clay to safely contain the mercury. Yeah. And everyone's just looking at me like, "You dickhead." And I'm like, "Hey, I was the one right next to the mercury when it broke, bitch." So, and there we are, people just like happily going like, "Oh, my baby's 8 days old. Please, can you inject it with this fucking mercury, please?" So neurotoxin induces cellular. Now, some might say, actually, mercury.
I've got to say though that there is a special place in hell for the people that give this to trusting people.
Yes,
like the people that go for the jab. And I have my problems with them, like they are, but they do trust you. The doctor gives them this thing, and they trust that doctor is doing the right thing for them.
Yeah, they're absolutely.
There is a special place in hell for people that can do that with very little conscience.
Speaking of which, I forget her name, but there was this big story in Germany of this nurse. And she got in trouble because rather than injecting people with the jab, she was injecting them with saline solution. And then when it went to the court, they proved that, well, look, she's done the Hippocratic Oath, which is first do no harm, and there is no harm in it.
Got a new nickname for you, the Oxford Chemical Weapons Use.
That is no comment.
And Dom says,
I disavow any...
So Mercury is Hobbit's supervillain origin story.
It's Kryptonite. Alright,
I disavow any sort of terroristic comment. Say, look, GCHQ, I'm not responsible for what the chat is saying. MI5, hello. But yeah, there's no safe dose, and people are just now. And someone will go, actually, there's more mercury in the tuna sandwich than there is in any jab you have. So what are you complaining about? Right, big differences here, right? Often with the tuna sandwich, you can have an apple with it, or there's fibre in the bread itself, and that fibre will quite happily chelate, works a bit like a sponge. It will just hold on to that mercury, and it will not penetrate your gut. When you're injected with mercury, it goes in directly into your veins. There is no layer of protection where normally something poisonous that goes into your gut, if it's too bad, it will be vomited out or diarrheaed out. You bypass all of that. That's why vaccinations work.
Also got the liver and kidneys filtering it out.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You see, when you're injecting somebody with this stuff, it bypasses all those defense mechanisms, and that's how you end up with mercury in people's brains. Now, next up, polysorbate 80 and 20. Now, to me, polysorbate is like, well, that's a type of sugar in it. I mean, insulcitol is a type of sugar, and it used to be an ingredient in Red Bull. And they also use it prop departments when they want to have actors using cocaine. They'll give them insulcitol. And it's one of those polysaccharides which actually tastes sweet. It's got about half the sweetness of sucrose. So polysorbate.
Some actors sniffing that and they go, "Well, this isn't proper cocaine. It doesn't smell right."
This insulcitol is making my nose numb. Oh, it's actual real cocaine. So polysorbate trespasses the blood-brain barrier.
Cocaine says, "Wait, so I shouldn't inject tuna sandwiches."
No, if you inject,
no, you have to turn into a paste first. Like,
yeah,
whole, it would be very painful.
Tuna sandwiches be pretty bad as well, wouldn't it, Hobbit?
I mean, honestly, like any sort of tuna and sweet corn, I would say contact poison control if you got it. I don't know why a tuna sweet corn sandwich exists, but it does.
Yeah.
So polysorbate, it allows the other nasty stuff like aluminium thimerosal and viruses to trespass the blood-brain barrier. So I'm assuming. I'd like to know a bit more about that, but
would that be something to do with osmosis then, Hobbit? Because isn't that like how you do osmosis?
Possibly, maybe, but the blood-brain barrier is like that's good.
Arcane knowledge from about 40 years ago.
It's very, very good at filtering what can go in there to protect your
sugar used in the what was the word I just used? I've forgotten it already.
Osmosis. Yeah, because you've got things like
in the osmosis experiment, don't you?
Well, you know how that there's these, they call them sports drinks, and they say, oh, it's an isotonic solution, and what that means, right? So isotonic means the same as. So if you're having a hypertonic solution like distilled water, that means there's no minerals in it, and therefore, in order to achieve osmosis, minerals from the body will be leached into the hypertonic solution until it's achieved a balance. If you have an isotonic solution, then there's no transfer of minerals or electrolytes. It all stays the same, and that's how an isotonic solution, they say, is more refreshing than just a pure water.
Yeah.
And that it's stupid, right? But people say, actually, if you have distilled water, it will dehydrate you. No, it won't dehydrate you. It's a hypertonic solution. It will leach minerals from your body, which then you'll need to replenish. But if you've had food, and you've had salt with your food, then guess what? Those minerals, you had them already. There's this strange idea people have got, like, oh, if I eat rabbit, I will die of malnutrition because that one meal there will just like consume all the vitamins and minerals in my body. They get the wrong idea. I find it very interesting how people get these wrong ideas about.
It's a little knowledge, but it's partly cute. It's partly
a little, yeah, a little knowledge can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think polysorbate might work in the same way as this chemical called DMSO, and the NHS calls it magic cream. And it's this thing which allows the skin to be very permeable. So rather than injecting someone, like you've got a child, they'll put the magic cream on them and they'll put a drug in it, like usually a sedative, and it will penetrate through the pores. And it's good to use on children because nobody likes being injected, especially not children. So, like, oh look, we're going to put you to sleep, and then you will have the surgery done. They'll do that.
Sticking tuna. We're not doctors, obviously, so we can't give medical advice. But sticking tuna up sandwiches up your Jap side may cause irritation.
I
not
would
out medical advice, obviously.
Spoken like a man who tried. Yeah.
I will give you the one piece of medical advice that I, as not a doctor, can give you here, is before inserting any object, but in your case, tuna sweet corn sandwich into your Japsai, I would consult your GP.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking polysorbate works the same as DMSO. It increases permeability of these membranes, which should be impermeable.
Yeah.
Now, we've got something called glutaraldehyde.
They're for no real reason whatsoever. They're impermeable for no real reason whatsoever, aren't they?
Well, they're impermeable because they're racist and they believe in borders, which is very bigoted of the blood-brain barrier.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, shouldn't it just be refugees or chimeras are welcome? Glutaraldehyde is a toxic chemical used as a disinfectant for heat-sensitive medical equipment. Fetal bovine serum, harvested from cow fetuses taken from pregnant cows before slaughter. But often these days they don't do that. Well, actually, no, it goes on in this next bit. Human diploid fibroblast cells, which is harvested from aborted fetal cells. Its foreign DNA has the ability to interact with their own. Now, here's a thing which I've mentioned this before about how to make a live tissue culture. Now, pay attention, those in the Wuhan lab. If you need to replicate a virus for a jab, you need live tissue in order to do it, because a virus can't replicate in dead tissue because the tissue's dead. So it needs to be a live host. And the way you get a live...
like a parasite then, where it needs a live host.
So the way the virus works is it has to go into a living cell, because the living cells are reproducing, and what it does is it injects its sequence into the cell's DNA, and so then when the cells replicate, the virus replicates with it. Now, what happens and what makes you feel ill during it is they'll replicate to the point where the cells burst, and it destroys the cell. And because rather than replicating normally, it's just been turned into a factory to reproduce more and more of these virus strands, which then go and infect other cells until your immune system wakes up and goes, oh, this is an infection, I need to curtail this because this is not part of the cells. So in order to make a vaccination, you need to have the live tissue so that the viruses can be multiplied. And the way you get live tissue is, well, you could kill people to do it. You know, you could harvest them living, but people say, oh, that's morally objectionable, you can't do that. And also, wasn't Joseph Goebbels doing stuff like that? So no, the completely ethical way we do it now is just say, LOL, get an abortion, and then your little baby will be ground up into paste with hundreds of other babies and kept alive in these bubbling vats where they'll be injected with viruses, so that the aborted tissue will be experiencing agony as it's then harvested to make these concoctions, which are then injected into people. And then you go, oh, I seem to have got the mutated because now I have DNA from another child that's been injected into my body along with bovine DNA. Do you know, just as a brief aside, like, most of the viewers won't be aware of somebody called Wobblehead. He's also known as Michigan Videomaker, but I look at his strange bovine features. He's not the only one as well. There's another guy called Big Matt, and he does a thing called Big Matt's Food Reviews. And I look at the bovine features on their face and the way like the eyes seem to independently move, much like a cow's. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe they look like cows because they've been like introduced with cow DNA. So you're no longer looking at something that's 100% human. You're looking at something which has got like bovine DNA as well as DNA from abortions in it. So anyway, moving on from human diploid fibroblast cells, African green monkey kidney cells.
Oh, this sounds good. I've never seen a green monkey.
Yeah. Well, no, because they've all been harvested to make the kidney cells. So you see, that can carry a thing called SV40, which is cancer-causing virus that's already tainted around 30 million Americans. Now, SV40, I've heard Alex Jones talk about it, and I think, I'm not sure, but I do believe that's where you get simian immunovirus from, which the SIV, which is it's like human immunovirus, the HIV, except it's simians instead. Acetone. Oh, I know acetone. That's what you use for removing nail polish. But anyway, causes kidney, liver, and nerve damage.
Nail polish in your blood.
Yeah, and that'll clean it away. E. coli. Yeah. What Well, to be fair, if you're making an E. coli vaccination, you will find E. coli in it. DNA from
do you remember in the olden days how they used to make vaccines, where you had a small part of the disease in the vaccine?
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's what they're still doing.
Green monkey up, Hobbit. They really are.
Yeah. DNA from porcine circulovirus type 1.
Ooh,
circovirus.
That sounds healthy.
Yeah.
Is there a test
Human
that later says living the dream?
Yes, there will be a test, so do make a note of this in your copybook. Human embryonic lung cell cultures, which is also from aborted fetuses.
Nice.
But if you want to know more about these,
lung cell?
Well, maybe it's for whooping cough.
Just so you know, this is from the conspiracy site CDC.
CDC. Yes.
Yeah.
cdc.gov/vaccine/pub/pinkbook downloads appendices. Anyway, if you want the big link, it's a PDF. It's a PDF file from the cdc.gov, and it goes on to all the ingredients in vaccines and what they're used for and where their sources are from.
Kidney Cells is Dom's favourite punk band.
Now, is this like the dress which is black and white and some people say is gold and blue? And I'm looking at that monkey and I'm saying that, well, okay, maybe it's because it's the green background behind it, but to me that looks like it's yellow.
It's kind of high vis, isn't it? I don't know, high vis is right there between green and yellow, isn't it?
Well, fluorescent, yeah, it's a sort of greeny yellow.
Yeah, it's like right there in between the two, isn't it? So maybe it should be called the high vis monkey.
No, I do have a few other articles which should just carry us to the 2-minute mark. You see, I got a couple of bookmarks on the Twitters, which is now known as the X's. Yeah. So let's have a look at my X bookmarks. So what we got? Oh, yeah. So not Fortean, but there's this brilliant composer called Jeremy Soule. He's made music for. If there's a game and you like its soundtrack, chances are Jeremy Soule's composed it. Giant Citizen Kabuto, Total Annihilation, Supreme Commander, Dark Souls, Dungeon Siege, Oblivion, Skyrim. He's composed the music for it. They basically Me Too'd him. No proof, just accusations, and that's it. You can't work in the industry ever again. And this composer, look, I'll say it right. He's probably up there with John Williams in terms of classical music. He's still alive, and it's a fucking criminal shame that he's been Me Too'd off the planet. Right. So, this is a thing. 2 things about Gabe Newell that are really fucking Fortean, and I think we can finish on this. So Gabe Newell, the CEO of Valve Software. Yeah. Valve CEO Gabe Newell's Neuralink competitor. Yeah. Well, Valve Steam is part of Valve. Like Alphabet is Google's part of Alphabet. Yeah. Valve CEO Gabe Newell's Neuralink competitor is expecting its first brain chip this year. And there was an article about it saying that rather than having just a central brain chip, it'd be better to have a whole bunch of them. And so people are speculating that Gabe Newell is going to live forever in a digital form, so that he'll be able to administer Steam for the rest of his life in perpetuity, so it can't be taken over. Interesting idea. Now, someone here went on to say Gaben Law, because a lot of people, they for some reason call Gabe Newell Gaben. Gaben Law is insane. They wanted him to go on the search and rescue mission for the Ocean Gate sub because he privately owns the only submarine in the world capable of safely going to that depth. He just pops up out of nowhere when you least expect it. Is he a real life...
Green monkeys, you've got to fucking look at this. Someone's put a fucking monkey head on a chicken in Africa.
You know what? African... that is what I don't really think that's a Fortean subject. I think that's shit Africans do. Although we can say it's Fortean that they think gold is stored in the skull, bald people's skulls.
It's not covered in blood. And its legs are still going, and its legs are still going. That's wonderful.
They do say, I mean, in Africa, like, oh, you know, if bald people better like wear toupees because otherwise they'll crack open your skull to dig the gold out. But anyway, Gabe Newell, he owns a submarine which could have gone to those depths that the Ocean Gate sub did. He's like the Zorin. Who's that guy in the James Bond film? The Christopher Walken did it.
Sorry, what was that? What was Christopher Walken in it?
Christopher Walken was this like Bond villain, and he just
Due to a kill.
Gabe Newell reminds me of Christopher Walken in that film.
Zorin's the character.
Yeah, that's it. Rams Paul. I don't. I'm gonna have to say I disavow this, but let's just read this very bigoted neo-Nazi Rams Paul thing. It says fascinating paper from the UN, which is, as the UN stands for United Nazis, website. The stated goal is to use the Holocaust as a weapon to demand multiculturalism and globalism. Again, this is not a conspiracy. Well, he says it's not a conspiracy theory from the neo-Nazi website. This is from the UN. We all know UN stands for United Nazis. So un.org/en/Holocaust. What was it? Well, anyway, on the UN, there's this thing about the Holocaust and multicultural globalism. The new Pope, Pope Leon the 14th. I'm going to give you a picture, right? Would you like to see a picture of Pope Leon the 13th? Next, side by side with the new Pope, Pope Leon the 14th. Corporate needs you to tell the difference between these two images.
They're the same image.
It literally, like, Leon, welcome back Pope Leo the 13th. I guess reincarnation is real for some people. So what, is he a Hindu Catholic? How does that work? How is it I'm looking at the same man centuries apart and they're both the Pope? It's like, come on, mate, you've already been Pope once. Yeah. Isn't it time for somebody else's turn? When am I going to be Pope?
If we're squeezing stories in, have you seen... you ever seen Annabelle? You ever heard of Annabelle the doll?
No.
Oh, right, well, she's on the run. She's fucked off. Because both Ed and Ray Warren are dead now, and now she's fucked off from their museum.
Do you want to see a weird black ring floating in the sky?
How about a six-legged cat?
No, I don't. I've got a thing to tell you. I've actually got a phobia of seeing fucked up chimeras. I don't want to see that sort of stuff. But anyway, it is like a floating ring in the sky. So that's spooky, isn't it? Yeah. So there's that. Deep underground military bases. Oh yeah, that'll be a good documentary. I'll just copy that.
So the cat's called Bitsy, and so it's what kind of twin are they? Like where they don't absorb it properly.
Siamese.
So one of those twins where it doesn't absorb it properly. So it's resulted in 2 extra legs and a second pelvis.
That's fucked up. Yeah. I don't like Siamese twins. I don't think they should exist, but they do.
Got like six legs and 4 legs on the back end.
Here's another thing, right? In 1898, a Minnesota farmer claimed to find a stone carved of Viking runes tangled in the roots of a tree. It described a Norse expedition in 1362 AD, deep in America's interior. A chilling warning was etched in its face. The Kensington runestone.
I thought that wasn't even like. I thought that wasn't even controversial anymore. That they'd been to.
No, it's not. Well, there's this guy called Moundlaw, and he's. I don't think he's got the recent update because it's like, look, we know in Newfoundland there are Viking longhouses, like the ones with grass sod on them, which you see in Iceland and Greenland, and you also see in Lapland, and it's just it's known that Vikings did, and that's why Leif Erikson is celebrated as like Christopher Columbus, but for Scandinavians, because Leif Erikson discovered America long before Christopher Columbus did.
How about the paraglider who sucked 8,500 metres into the sky by freak air currents? Oh, you bastard. That must have been Brown Trousers time, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, scientists have solved another mystery about how a 1,300 ton boulder managed to travel up a cliff.
Yeah, it was ice and little tiny little things. I really want to read the chat now, see, because I don't want people to think I'm ignoring you. So Mercury's Hobbit super. Now Craig says here, treating cancer bicarbonate soda. Yeah,
by tsunami 7,000 years ago. There we go.
A nice tsunami. Yeah. So, Craig, have you read or do you know about the Italian oncologist Dr. Tullio Simoncini? Because he found out. Well, he found out. He rediscovered that the Egyptians thousands of years ago already knew about cancer, and it's like, if you inject the tumors with sodium bicarbonate, it destroys them, and it's chemotherapy. Like other chemotherapy, you find an artery feeding the tumor, and you inject it with poison, and you hope that the tumor dies before the patient does. That's how chemotherapy works. Radiotherapy is much the same, except you're using radiation instead of poison to do it. In terms of chemotherapy, sodium bicarbonate is a very mild form of chemotherapy, and it's why if you've got an oncologist who's willing to do it, the problem is in this country, and I'm really hoping they've relaxed the laws on this, but good luck.
You see, there's where you're not allowed to cure cancer.
Right, so in it's more than that, Hemi. Right, the NHS has a list, because you remember the thing they were talking about postcode lottery and saying, oh, well, if you go here, you get this, and you go here, you go that. So there was this thing called NICE, which is the National Institute Clinical Excellence. And what NICE does is it makes sure we each get the same shitty service regardless of what hospital you go to in England. So if I says you can't do it, you can't do it. Even though the patient says, look, doctor, my chances aren't good, are they, right? And I'm making an informed decision here, and I'm telling you, as my oncologist, let's try this sodium bicarbonate as chemotherapy. And the oncologist will be like, oh, well, look, I really don't think this is a good idea, and I don't know. And be like, well, look, here's the dosage requirements. What do you think? Come on, let's just do it. And if I die, then be like, oh, well, then you're a fucking idiot and I'm dead. But it's me that's the patient. I'm willing to do that.
About the Cancer Act. So the Cancer Act 1939 was brought in to, and this is in quotes, make further provision for the treatment of cancer, to authorise the Minister of Health to lend money to the National Radium Trust, to prohibit certain advertisements relating to cancer and for purposes connected with the matters aforesaid. So obviously someone was obviously someone was making money. So the National Radium Trust wasn't a trust then if they were lending money to it.
I mean, if you really want to be put on the YouTube naughty step, we could talk about Raymond Rife and how he figured out that if you use resonant frequencies, you can destroy cancers, much like they do in the NHS with, they call it, no, not lactroscopy. There's this Greek term for shattering stones. Yeah. So if somebody knows they're Greek, they can say, oh, yeah, but there's... What they're referring to there is, like, if you've got kidney or bladder stones, they'll put you into a bath and they'll use UV pulses to shatter the stones using resonant frequencies. They used to do it for gallstones as well. That worked. And, you can also use UV with that to shatter cancer tumours. The cancer tumours do heat up, though, so there is that. But in terms of other sort of therapies, lactroscopy...
The National Cancer Act came nearly 10 years before the founding of the NHS.
I think that's probably a subject for another episode. But so Craig Wilson said that, so became the winged messenger. Wait, so I shouldn't inject tuna sandwiches. Sticking tuna sandwich at Jap sandwich causes irritation. How does you consulting his GP help? Well, I'm just saying that if you're thinking of injecting a tuna sweet corn sandwich into your Japsai, consult your GP first.
If you are thinking of injecting tuna sandwiches down your Japsai, don't inject tuna sandwiches down your Japsai. I think would be the way to clear this one up once and for all.
I'm saying you should definitely call your GP and say, doctor, look, I'm thinking of putting this tuna sweet corn sandwich in a blender. and then using the syringe, injecting it into my Jap's eye. Could you give me some medical advice? And then just see what your GP's got to say. In America, your general practitioner is called your family physician. So consult your family physician if you're an American. Because I have to translate this to American. Because bear in mind, we've got Americans in our audience. Is there a test on this later? Yes. African Green Monkey Kidney Cells is my favourite punk band. Yep. Streets of Rage 2, Voodoo, Defo 14, Blowfield, oh, Walken. Sorry, I thought you meant Waltz. Mark Zorin. Yeah, I like the Pope. The Pope smokes dope. Classic Athena poster. The Pope in Shades, classic spitting image public. Remember that? St. Brendan smiled to America in the sailed to America in the leather boat in the 6th century AD. Everybody was at it. It's a shame the spitting image comeback didn't catch on. I guess Zoomers are too afraid of satire. Well, as Andrew Lawrence will say, you can't say jokes these days, otherwise the fucking Scousers will have
the fun police, the Scouse fun police. Like they hate crime. They hate crime, but they want to be the fun police, don't they?
Calm down, calm down.
You calm down. You calm down. You're the one that's all angry. You calm down.
No, you.
No, you calm down. Oh. You calm down. You're all angry. You're crying. You're crying. No, look, the water's coming out your face, not mine.
Yeah.
Just makes you laugh. No, you're angry. You're fucking angry.
So, that's 14, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. You had extra again. You lucky people.
Yeah, that's it. We did the stuff.
It's a shame Spitting Image comeback didn't catch on. I guess Zoomers are too afraid of satire.
So, Death Valley Part 2, Sliding Stones Boogaloo.
Yeah. No, it's we'll do Whipkey. We'll do Paul Whipkey when we come back.
Oh, Death Valley Part 2, Prostitutes in the Loo. Yeah.
Well, I kind of like the idea of
you can't sunset Gulch.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Bunch of bitters, the lorry, yes. Says Living the Dream. I believe
in 1987.
I believe he can speak jive. I mean Scouser.
In 1987, a 19-year-old. In 1987, a 19-year-old German pilot flew through the Soviet air defense and landed near the Red Square in Moscow. Yeah, that's a fucking Cessna.
Did it in a Cessna, didn't it? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember.
You know, it's like, what are you doing here?
Just the clumps. God, do you remember the Nutty Professor and about 1 million films when only one was funny?
Johnny Cash with his boots kicked off, chain smoking in the high-end Dexedrine while playing the song of how his family's Arkansas farm flooded in 1937. Johnny Cash really appreciated drugs. There was like a time where like Johnny Cash was in a bush naked and he's just like scooping up handfuls of birthday cake and eating it. I was like, you know what? I think that there might have been there's all been times we've been high, right? Unless you're a fucking Zoomer, in which case you're teetotaler because God forbid someone record you acting like a prat.
You don't like boobs either. You want flat-chested women.
Yeah, so I don't know what sort of.
And if you actually went in a Hooters, you'd probably fucking cry and have a cry or something.
So I don't know what it is about Zoomers. They're spiritually bereft, but I think a lot of it's down to the mobile phone because, oh God, look, my mate got drunk. Let's all make fun of him for acting like a prat. So anyway, back in your 20s was usually a time when people did a lot of drugs. And I have got to say here, I've been high, but I have never been Johnny Cash naked in the bush, scooping up handfuls of birthday cake and eating it high. Stay spooky, everybody, but not spooky as Johnny Cash.
Yeah, spooky.
Ooh.
Perhaps I ought to finish the stream.
Yeah? What is Dexedrine?